Welcome Curious Souls, Scientific Different Mouse. I'm Katie and today it's our first time in world premiere. This is the replacement for Studio One here in the Walt Disney Studios Park at Disneyland Paris. And the first impressions of the courtyard outside are really nice. It's great to see the construction walls gone. But yeah, let's go and have a look inside. Really excited to see what we've done in the place. Let's go in. Whoa. I tell you what guys, this is pretty cool in here. First impressions, it's really cool, they've done a great job. Okay everyone, so I'm going to start a tour of Walt Disney Plaza. We've just walked into the entrance doors and now I'm looking back towards those. So these are the doors that lead out back towards the exit of the park. And you can see the facade that you're leaving is the Walt Disney Studios building. Now it's worth paying close attention to the windows on this building because in each of the windows you can see silhouettes of the workers' desks. And they change, the lights change. Interesting to note, you won't see any people in there. Now the reason for that is because this area is themed as it's a Hollywood premiere. And of course some of the animators are at the desk because they were at the premiere of the film they just made. But yeah, in that window up there I can see Mickey and Pinocchio. And I think a Spider-Bot actually. Over here we've got a piano. I'm kind of vaguely hoping that's a nice nod to the Sherman Brothers. Then on your right, as you enter World Premiere Plaza, we have the Hollywood Gardens restaurant. We will be trying this today. Now, Hollywood Gardens replaced the old restaurant en coulisses, which used to be in this building. It's exactly the same location. They've changed it a lot. It's now got a much more kind of glamorous Hollywood premiere vibe. One thing that's interesting to note about here is it's kind of the first of the Disney-owned restaurants here that actually have orders touch screens, so you can place an order, and then you wait for your number to be called and go up to a desk. So in that respect, it's kind of a bit like a McDonald's or a KFC. If you've ever kind of done that vibe, then you'll recognise it very much. Now, the menu used to be burgers, and the menu now is burgers. But they've made them a bit more classy, I think is the way to phrase it. So it'll be interesting to see what they've done to the food. Because the burgers that used to be here were all right. They were just very basic theme park burgers. You wouldn't be rushing to eat them again for sure. You see this little bit of the theming in here to make you feel like you're on a Hollywood street, like this valet parking sign as well. Now, one thing to note about Hollywood Gardens is it does have an upstairs seating area. This used to be called, when this was Restaurant en coulisses, Carmen's Veranda, which is both hilarious and a terrible pun all at the same time. I don't think it's got a name now. I think it's just a nice terrace at Hollywood Gardens restaurant. Although I do believe from up there you can get some great shots from across world premieres, so we'll be trying to go up there later so we can see what the view's like from there. Okay, then that's good to note, because one thing this park has been significantly lacking is breakfast options. You can see from here that they are actually currently serving breakfast here. It's served until 10:30. I think it's literally just a croissant and a drink. So, not the most exciting breakfast you're ever going to have, but it's one. So, just going to try walking in. So these are the kiosks you will place your order at. You can see it shows kind of like a smattering of the food they offer here. I did just notice on one of them, it did have different language options, so if you're like us and your French isn't great, that's probably just as well. We've got more seating this way. Oh, hot drinks machine, that's exciting. Right, so we're just going to go up the stairs and see what that's like. Now they do have around the walls here projections on photographs to make it feel like you are actually Hollywood and the landscape's alive. I did read something about the fact that this backdrop, they are thinking about changing it as time goes on, so I'd be interested to see if it does change. So like many of the other restaurants here at Disneyland Paris, they're going for the multiple recycling bins. So it looks like a recreation of a lift. I'm going to go out on a limb and say I don't think it's functional, but I think it's there for looks. But here is the view from upstairs. And I have to say, it's pretty damn spectacular up here. Now the little kiosk you can see opposite, which is called Searchlight, that's going to be a snack kiosk. As far as I know, I don't think it's actually opened yet, which is interesting. I don't know why they didn't open it with the rest of the world premiere. I can only assume they're still doing work on it behind the scenes. And we'll get more shots of this in a minute, but that exit over there with all the neon is the entrance into the park. Now the idea is that after you've gone to your Hollywood premiere, when you walk into the park, when it especially becomes Disney Adventure World, that you'll be able to go and live the movies that you've just seen the premiere for. It's like you're walking into them. So I kind of get where they went with the theming of this. Looking at the buildings opposite us, which are the shops, and we'll look at them in more detail from the floor in a minute, they haven't changed much actually from when it was Studio One. They've tweaked some of the facades. For example, this very end one here next to the entrance into the park, that used to be themed to a petrol garage or a gas station if you're American. And now it's a gift shop. I'm guessing because in the middle of a Hollywood premiere, no one's going to be stopping to fill up their car. And I have to say, the music in here is pretty spectacular. It's lots of different big soundtracks mixed together. At the moment, we've got Hercules, and I'm sorry getting a copyright ding for this. But anyway, if we continue to walk down a little bit. Now, one thing I will say, having gotten a top-down view of the seating here for Hollywood Gardens, is I think there's less tables than when it used to be Restaurant en Coulisses. Having said that, it does look a lot nicer. Restaurant en Coulisses was looking a bit worn. By the end of its life, I think is a nice way of phrasing it. So it's nice that they've gone for a different approach with it. But I'm wondering how at peak meal times, how this place copes with the crowds, and that'll be interesting to see as time goes on. Also, you may have noticed it as we walked in, but when you come into this restaurant, you are walking the red carpet, so it is like you're at a full Hollywood premiere going on. And that's the theme of this restaurant, is that this is the dining for the premiere that's happening at this point. Whereas all the shops opposite are meant to be the kind of standard gift shops you would see in Hollywood. Now, one thing they do also have in here is a microwave. I think that's if you need to warm up like baby food or anything like that. And They do have drinks machines. I think you're supposed to pay by coins to get a drink, which is a bit strange. Maybe they're just trying to reduce queues for hot drinks at the counter. I'm not entirely sure on that one, but anyway. I've only got various coffee accoutrements going on down here, and tissues. Now this side, the backdrop, is themed to the Disney Studio parks. So you can see the Sorcerer's Apprentice hat, the water tower, which is what the Eiffel Tower in this park's based on, and the ABC studios, because of course Disney own ABC as well. You can kind of see a few more of those animated windows on the building opposite here as well. So yeah, that's the upstairs seating area of Hollywood Gardens. So we'll pick this up again when I'm back down the stairs, because no one seems to see me filming myself falling down the stairs. So we're just leaving Hollywood Gardens restaurant. You can see here the red carpet. Outside of Hollywood Gardens, this is the entrance into the park. You can see it's got the world premiere name. And as I mentioned from upstairs, the whole point of this is that you're in your own film, your own film premiere when you walk through here. That's how they've done the theming. It's also noting that you also go on the red carpet as you walk into your film premiere, leaving world premiere into the main bit of the park. Now, this side path heads down to the toilets. And I'm not going to film in the toilets because that's weird. But they do have these posters either side, which showcases the main kind of attractions. And it's also got stuff that's yet to come. So you can see on here is The Lion King, Frozen. Those are the Frozen shows here already. Obviously the rest of it isn't. We've got their Crush, the Animation Studio, the Water Tower. That's a good sign. I think it means they're not getting rid of it like they did in Florida. One thing I keep finding interesting is a lot of this concept art have Wally and Eve on it. They haven't announced anything Wally themed for this park, so I don't know if that's just because. Now, allegedly, there's a lot of animation references here. In fact, I can already see one. It's a poster for Paradise Falls, which is from Up. You can see there's posters for recruiting for the animation studio here. Now, obviously, we saw the animation studio before. You can see it's covered up a bit of Pete was here graffiti with the bills. Now, also worth noting down here, there is a place that you can rent a battery pack to charge your phone. Now, I'm not sure about the arcade. That might be a reference to Tron, but I'd have to look it up. Now, Silver Lake Animal Rescue up here, I believe that is a reference to Bolt, which is not a film you actually see getting referenced a lot in the Disney parks. I have to see it getting some love. Obviously, Find Your Perfect Fit of the jewellery box, a very obvious nod there to Cinderella with the glass slipper. O'Malley and the Alley Cats is Aristocats reference. And you've got Dynaco Gasoline, a couple of them here, which is a reference to the Cars universe. The Spell to Find Missing Pets, I'm wondering if that's a reference to Mickey and the Magician. I'm not 100% sure. And it's also got down here an advert for the Super Diner, which is over in Avengers Campus. There's a few references to Thing. And this other tyre one, I'm guessing, is also a reference to the Cars universe. So yeah, a lot of really cool details here. I believe, I'll figure out this joystick one of these days, that construction firm that's up there is a reference to something as well. And they've got a B&L shop for sale up here. And B&L, in case you're wondering, it was the firm from Wally. It was the company that Wally was originally designed to work for, crushing up all the rubbish. So yeah, some really cool details. And actually it's worth just stopping down here to appreciate the details in the theming. Like this really cool trim they've put on the facade for the theatre. So we're going to go down to the toilets. As I say, I'm not going to go any closer to the toilets because that's so strange. No one wants to think someone's filming them in a toilet. But right now I'm going to swing into the shop. Now there's lots of different facades on the outside here, but they're all one big shop that you can walk through. And it should just hold a selection of merch related to the kind of IP you find here in the studios. So unsurprisingly, we've got Toy Story Playland here, and Worlds of Pixar. We've got a big old Toy Story section. An incredibly cute kids Jessie outfit. And speaking of Toy Story, let's start playing the music behind you. On this side we've got the inevitable wall of plushies. Including those big feet plushies, which everyone seems to be absolutely loving. Now, all over the place when we were in Florida earlier in the year, they're all over the place here as well. Any little Cars fans in your family? You might want to think about getting this Cully Lightning McQueen, and there's lots of different Cars stuff here. There are 2 Cars attractions here, so again, it makes sense for there to be a lot of Cars merch. And, oh, a big Marvel section. Oh, and a very big mirror. Hello, me. It's worth also just pause again to shop for stuff and look at the detail here. The trim around the top. Again, I'm not sure if this has changed all that much since it was the shop that was here previously. It's a bit more glamorous, which just probably fits better in with the theme we've got going on here. But yeah, lots of Marvel merch. So, Captain America's. Oh yeah. This is for you. Groot's. Now personally I just wish there was some Agatha Wallon merch, but hey, that's me. A lot of Guardians of the Galaxy themed stuff. And Spider-Man. And Spider-Man is obviously partly because they have the Spider-Man ride here. We've got Web Slingers, which is a really cool ride. I do kind of love this Marvel hoodie when you can look like you're one of the Avengers from Endgame when they were doing the time travelling. No, it's very Spider-Man onesie, because who doesn't want that? And a lot of merch here as well for Spidey and His Amazing Friends, which is on Disney Junior. So yeah, full range of Marvel-y stuff. Now they do have Star Wars merch in here as well, which is kind of interesting considering there's no Star Wars in this park. I'm assuming that it's just because it's one of the big franchises that Disney owns, so fair enough. They do have a range of cups here, including one themed together, which is the Pixar musical show. It's sadly not on when we're here. But there you go. Yep, Cully Chewbacca's and Grogu's. A range of lightsabers. Honestly though, if you want Star Wars merch, my advice would be either to go to the Disney store in the village or go to the shop at the exit of Star Tours of any other park. You're going to find a lot more stuff there. Got a whole set of Spider-Man tableware going on. And various Marvel mugs. The ever popular chip mug. And the kind of the centrepiece of this shop is this Golden Mickey. Now interestingly, on the Disney Cruise Line, some of the ships have a show called the Golden Mickeys, so I do wonder if this is a little bit of a nod to that. Also in here we've got a lot of Stitch merch. Stitch is massive in Paris, just so you know. So if you're not a fan, be prepared, you're going to see a lot of him anyway. But if you are a fan, who hurt you? You okay? Do I need to call someone? So interesting, the theme in this one, they very much grouped it by characters. So this is your Mickey and Pals merch in this area. Chip and Dale have their own rack, including these incredibly cute pastel plushes, which I do kind of love. Although the Thumper one of them is just so cute, it's to die for really. I've got a real thing for Cully toys, just in case anyone knows. Also, this is probably the cutest lounge fly available out here at the moment. We've got a full range of mugs. And this is more kind of like generic Disney characters over here. And bowls and things. And here you actually have some Walt Disney Studios merch. Now, I'm willing to bet in a year or so's time, this is going to start becoming a real collector's piece because obviously the studios is not going to be called the studios anymore. But interestingly, a lot of the merch doesn't say Walt Disney Studios Park, it just says Walt Disney Studios. And I'm wondering if that's deliberate so they then don't have to do a big green theme. Having said that, just to prove me wrong, here's a Walt Disney Studios mug with Disneyland Paris on it. So if you're a fan of this park and its current iteration, I would recommend getting that merch sooner rather than later because it's not going to last forever. So they have a hoodie, cups, there's a clipboard on the other side. Clipboard, like a clackerboard for a film. Right then. Then on this side, we have got a t-shirt, which does have Park on it. So that's quite a cool piece of merch actually. And this very cute Mickey statue. Although I would have thought they would have done a recreation of the one that's actually in the shop, and they haven't for some reason. Now that's the way down to Patil's. Again, I'm not buying anything at the moment, so I'm not going to walk down there because it's just going to annoy everyone. And then down here we have the ever popular ear headbands. There's a whole range of key rings here. And then shoulder pals. The shoulder pals are really massive over here. So you're going to see a lot of them. And then these kind of like cool but weird headband things are coming on special offer. And the Mickey sunglasses, and yes, I did buy myself some. And then past the mouses, the very last section of the shop is a Pandora shop. Now I'm not going to go down there because it's a very tight space and there's a lot of people looking at pretty jewellery, but I will quickly show you this window. But here are some of the more exclusive charms on this display, including the Phantom Manor charm, which I do kind of want. But yeah, I think that is the inside of the shop. So we're just going to walk down the outside again a bit now, and that will be inside of World Studio Tour. So that was the inside of the shops. On the outside, the facades we've got is the Hollywood Jewel Box, the Pandora bit, Glamour Girl, which is a fake cosmetic shop, the Hollywood Museum, and actually outside that you can get face painting done. We'll go and have a look at that in a minute. And then a bit more further down. Now another fun detail to note in here is the stars. So you are walking down a Hollywood Walk of Fame, and you can see they're all Disney characters. Here's where you can get your face painted. There we go. Here are your options. Cost €19. Or there's an option where you can get your face painted and get a crown for €35. Actually doesn't seem like a bad price because those crowns are kind of pricey. I like how this Egyptian bit has been themed as a tourist office as well as a museum. Then it's interesting here, this one is called the Hollywood and Vine 5 and Dime, because if you know your Hollywood Studios in Walt Disney World, Hollywood and Vine is a restaurant there, so a character dining restaurant, and 5 and Dime is a shop. So they've kind of like combined the two into one here. And then the last bit we've got is the Searchlight kiosk there now, which again isn't open. Hopefully will at some point, and then you've got that really spectacular facade outside. And the last little bit of female point out in here, You are meant to be going on Hollywood Street, hence you've got road markings in here. So, that's it for walking around inside, but the new works here wasn't only on the inside of the building, so we need to go and have a look at the back. And also we will also hear footage of our lunch from the Hollywood Gardens restaurant, so you can see what it looks like. See you in a minute.
Il n'y a plus une minute à perdre si vous souhaitez voir notre nouveau spectacle.
This is the area as you leave World Premiere, going out into the park. You can see there's lots of different posters around. And because this is currently Walt Disney Studios Park, we still have some construction walls because of course we do. But considering last time we were here, this was all behind a lot of walls. It's really nice to see the space open up again. Yeah, actually, there is something good to note here, that this space is covered. One thing that if you've ever been in DLP in the rain is that people tend to hover in doorways a lot and block up the doors. They've obviously done this so that people can get under shelter if it's been down and not actually block the doors completely. So that's actually a really good idea and a good piece of Imagineering. And now we come out into World Premiere Plaza with a tribute to the man behind it all, Walt Disney. Partners was gone for a very long time while this work was being done, so it's fabulous to see it back here where it belongs. And I do recommend, in this park, in any Disney park where there's a tribute to a Walt Disney, do come and say thank you to the guy who actually made all this possible. I mean, was he a saint? No. But he was one hell of a creative genius. And I know that his contributions to art and film have really made a big impact on me, and I think they have on a lot of other people as well. In the rest of the World Premiere space, we've got clear shot now open to the Tower of Terror. Also straight ahead, this is the beginning of what I think is going to be called World Premiere Boulevard or Hollywood Boulevard. I've forgotten, I'll be honest, I'll look it up. But this path is a straight shot down towards the lagoon, and you can just about see, peeking there, Arendelle, the new Frozen land coming together. Now obviously, they're still doing a lot of work here. There's a lot more to come. That space beyond that construction wall is not due to open until 2026. At the time we're recording this, it's June 2025, so yeah, there's a long way to go on it. But you can see that Frozen is actually looking really good. A bit of scaffolding here and there, but it's looking pretty much there. And you also now have clear access to the animation building. Last time we were here, that was under construction. Now, if you ever watched a complete tour of Disneyland Paris, and if you haven't, I will link that down below. It's really worth having a look before you come here. But one thing I will say about it is that the area to the right here used to be called Toon Studio, and the area to the left was Production Courtyard. Those names have pretty much now become defunct. Everything in this front area of the park is now part of World Premiere Plaza. I don't know if that's been updated on all the park maps yet, but it has certainly been announced for Disney Adventure World that that's what this area will be called. So yeah, that is our complete tour of the new World Premiere. So what do you guys think of a new World Premiere? I actually really like it. It's about time that the space got done up. I will miss some of the more cheesy elements than the old studio one, I have to say. But I do think it's nice to have this new space, and thank goodness it's back open, because oh my goodness, this park needed it. But I hope you get a chance to explore World Premiere Plaza soon. If you have any questions about the space, do let us know in the comments down below. And if you like our content, please give this video a like, subscribe to our channel, and click on the alert bell so you're notified when we load a new video. We'd also really appreciate it if you could visit us over on our blog at magicallythemostdifferentmouse.com and follow us on our socials. We'll link those down below too. So thank you very much for watching, and we look forward to seeing you real soon. Bye bye.